Hello, and welcome back to the Pitwall Pod, the podcast that delivers the facts without filter, from the paddock to your headphones. I'm Hannah, and today we're diving deep into the high speed chaos, strategic brilliances, and emotional highs and lows of 2025 Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. We'll unpack the entire weekend from free practice 1 to that final lap showdown between Mercedes and Red Bull. And yes, we're also going to talk about the elephant, or should I say groundhog, in the room. This was a Grand Prix that gave us wild crashes, emotional victories, and a big shake-up in the championship standings. So buckle up. FP1. Montreal delivered its usual unpredictability in FP1. Max Verstappen topped the session with a 1:13.193. Surprisingly, Alex Albon was right up there in P2, followed by Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc hit the wall at turn 4, causing a red flag. Replay showed that he locked up and hit a corner on the left before ricocheting into the opposite barrier, prompting him to apologize over the radio, damaging the chassis so he did not participate in FP2. Nico Hulkenberg brushed the wall of champions. Conditions were tricky. The track was green and dusty, with several drivers missing braking points. Mercedes and McLaren used the session for data gathering, with Russell and Norris not pushing for headline times. FP2. George Russell hit back with a 1:12.123, showing Mercedes' potential over one lap. Lando Norris was just 0.028 seconds behind, and Kimi Antonelli continued to impress in P3. The session was cleaner, but saw Lance Stroll lose his Aston Martin and tap the barriers just 5 minutes into practice. He made contact with the barrier and snapped his suspension, forcing him to park up with a dislodged front left wheel. Track evolutions played a huge role. Teams started zeroing in a top two-stop strategy as tire degradation became obvious. Red Bull focused on long-run pace, and Verstappen's race simulations looked ominously strong. FP3. McLaren looked like favorites by FP3, with Lando Norris setting a 1:11.799, the fastest of the weekend. Up to that point, Leclerc bounced back to take P2, and Russell, Hamilton, and Verstappen round out the top five. But not everything went smoothly. Oscar Piastri clipped the wall of champions and triggered another red flag. Nico Hulkenberg and Ollie Behrman also had minor off-track moments, and setup adjustments were rushed, setting the stage for a tense qualifying. Qualifying under warm conditions brought drama. George Russell grabbed pole with a perfect time of 1:10.899 in Q3. Max Verstappen was just behind, and Oscar Piastri continued his consistent from in P3. Kimi Antonelli is only his ninth Grand Prix stunt with P4. Charles Leclerc qualified P8 despite his disrupt FP1 and FP2. Lando Norris ended up P7 after struggling with tire warm-up and traffic. Hamilton and Alonso ended up in P5 and P6, the two oldest drivers starting together in the race. Carlos Sainz had another Q1 elimination and ended in P17. He was frustrated after encountering a slower moving Hadjar on track, an incident that would be investigated after the session. Q1 knockouts were Bortoleto, Sainz, Stroll, Lawson, and Gasly. Q2 knockouts were Tsunoda, Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Behrman, and Ocon. Tsunoda ended up in P11 but started the race in P18 because of a template grid drop for a red flag infringement in FP3. In Q3, George took pole from Verstappen and Piastri. Isaac Hadjar finished 9, but he needed to visit the stewards and got a three-place grid drop regarding an impeding incident with Sainz. Race starts and early strategy. Russell got a clean getaway and held Verstappen into turn 1. Behind them, Antonelli and Piastri went wheel to wheel into the first sector. Tire management quickly became crucial. Most of the grid went medium, or medium, hard, or some started on the hard. Russell pitted on lap 11, undercutting Verstappen. Red Bull responded 2 laps later, but Russell had already built a 2-second buffer. Piastri pitted on lap 17, and Leclerc and Norris waited much longer because they started on the hards. Leclerc went into pits on lap 29 and Norris on lap 30. McLaren initially looked strong with Piastri and Norris closing in. However, they were told to hold position, which began to cause tension. Lap 67 incident and McLaren fallout. With 3 laps to go, Norris went for a desperate lunge on Piastri in the final chicane. He clipped the inside curb, lost the rear, and slammed into the wall on the start-finish line. A safety car was deployed, and Norris was out on the spot. He later admitted it was a stupid move and accepted full blame. The stewards handed him a 5-second time penalty, but it had no effect since he DNF'd. The 5-second penalty will maybe be used in Austria and turned into a 3-place grid drop. McLaren team boss Andrea Stella was seen shaking his head. Piastri didn't comment post-race but looked visibly frustrated. Norris and McLaren have some serious internal reflection ahead. Norris apologized in the media pen to Piastri and took full blame. Final laps and podium. Russell kept calm during the safety car and held off Verstappen to win by 0.228 seconds. He also set the fastest lap on lap 63, a 1:14.119, making it a Grand Slam weekend, pole, win, and fastest lap. Verstappen pushed hard, but couldn't find a clean way past. He praised Russell's performance, but wasn't thrilled about how Mercedes managed the safety car. Kimi Antonelli finished third, earning his first F1 podium at just 18 years old. He became the third youngest podium finisher since Verstappen in 2016 and Lance Stroll. Piastri took P4, extending his lead in the championship, and Charles Leclerc rounded up the top 5. Midfield and wild moments, Lewis Hamilton hit a groundhog on lap 13, damaging his floor, leaving a hole. It compromised his pace and strategy. He still managed P6, but called for better wildlife protection. Further back, Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz finished P7 and P10. Albon retired the car on lap 48 with a power unit problem, so did Lawson in the RB on lap 56. Stewards, protests and penalties. Red Bull launched 2 formal protests post-race, one against Russell for allegedly braking erratically under the safety car, and after a 5.5-hour review, the stewards dismissed both. Esteban Ocon was warned for weaving. No other penalties changed the results. Norris' move was labeled a racing incident with over-aggression, and Lawson got a 50-place grid drop after the race for changing his engine under parc fermé conditions. In Austria, he will start from the pit lane. Championship standings. Drivers' Championship top 5. 1. Oscar Piastri with 198 points. 2. Lando Norris with 176 points. 3. Max Verstappen with 155 points. 4. George Russell with 136 points, and 5. Charles Leclerc with 104 points. Constructors' Championship top 3. McLaren with 374 points, Mercedes with 199 points, and Ferrari with 183 points. McLaren still leads, but the Norris-Piastri clash threatened team harmony. Next race, Austrian Grand Prix. The next stop is Austria at the Red Bull Ring, a high-speed, low-downforce circuit that suits Red Bull and Mercedes. Can Verstappen finally claw back ground on home soil, or will Russell go 2 for 2? And can McLaren and Ferrari come back? Keep an eye on internal tension at McLaren. Will there be team orders in Spielberg? Thanks for tuning in to the Pitwall Pod. Don't forget to follow, rate, and leave a review wherever you get your podcast. Got thoughts on Norwich versus Piastri? Send them in. Until next time, I'm Hanne. See you on the Red Bull Ring.